Good afternoon. Hello, hello, how are you? Yay, RSVP, right? Woo, that's right. So glad to have you here. We got some other guests that might be joining us, but we are glad that you're here and we want to honor that time and we want to make sure we have the 2 hours that we scheduled to celebrate. So we welcome you to our Building to Bloom Bites and Bubbly 2026. So all that M&Ms from last year, we're done with that, okay? So this is our new theme as we're moving in. So we welcome you. I am Stacy Iden, and I am the RSVP Program Director for the program, and you'll meet some of our other team members and others as we move through our program. So today, I want to turn it over to May Jean, who's going to give a quick welcome on behalf of Volunteer Fairfax.
Thank you, Stacy. Hi, everyone. My name is May Jean Deem, and I serve as the authorized representative of Volunteer Fairfax for the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, Northern Virginia, and welcome you all on behalf of my colleagues. And I would like to take this moment to have all of us thank the wonderful RSVP team, Amy, and you can also join. Amy, Tina, Patricia, and Stacy, whose stewardship and leadership of this program has ensured that we have secured our funding for our 15th year. Woo! That is absolutely an accomplishment, meaning that we have had 5 cycles of a 3-year grant. So thank you all for your commitment to this program and to your community. I think a little bit of a round of applause for you all should also happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're honored to have you have RSVP be one of our strongest programs with Volunteer Fairfax. And so again, I will not stop saying thank you for your commitment to our community. This year's theme, moving again away from the M&Ms, is the Legos Botanicals because they represent a paradox. They're built with precision, yet they bloom with organic beauty. Our mission is the same. We need the bricks of your hard work to create the petals of our impact. Get ready. This is just the beginning. You are planting seeds of hope every time you show up, and you are building a landscape that will never wither. So thank you all for your commitment. Thank you for being the beautiful blooms that you are. And I'm happy to pass it back to Stacy to continue with the program.
All right, so you're ready for all this bloom language, right? So I want to go back here real quickly. So our welcome, we're going to do a little bit of an RSVP impact so that we can kind of get our head in the right space as to the accomplishments that we've had over this last year. So we're excited to share that. We are going to do a Lego reflection build, so I hope that you're excited for some creative energy and some work. You never know what's going to happen when you show up here, is what Martin said. Where's Martin? Yes. Martin said, you never know when you come. We will do a bubbly toast, and then also we're going to finish our time upstairs where we'll have our reception and lots of yummy foods, and I'll give more direction on that. So with that said, so we often talk about our mission, and we talk about it in 2 parts: the structure we're building and the community that we're growing. And some might think that these are opposites, but actually you think of the hard steel of a foundation versus the soft petals of a flower. But when we look around this room, each of you are proof that we can't have one without the other. So you are the architects of our growth, and every volunteer hour that's been logged is a brick in our foundation. Every smile and connection of support is a seed planted for the future. And this group of RSVP volunteers and supporters, you don't just show up, you cultivate. And you don't just help, you construct. And so because of everyone in this room, our future is sturdy and it's beautiful. And so we thank you to everyone here for all that you've done to get us to this place and all that you're going to continue to do to build a legacy that breathes and into the future. So I wanted to tell you, we needed 175 active volunteers during this last grant year. Guess how many we finished with? 201. So woohoo, that's right. So that's what we needed. So And we had formal relationships with actually 47 partner organizations that represents 55 volunteer stations. And we have volunteers currently serving at all of the stations except for 3. So of those 55, we've got volunteers at 52 of those locations. So that's something we're celebrating as well. So as we move through this quickly, I'm going to share a few kind of notes and thoughts around kind of the different work that we do as RSVP volunteers. So we are ending year 2 of our 3-year grant. So on April 1, we go back to, I said 201, guess what we go back to? 0. That's right. We go back to 0 and we build from there again. So our numbers are not in. We have calculated everything through February, but as you know, we'll turn in our hours for March. And so we'll continue to celebrate throughout the year as we look at individual achievement. But this Peace Lily here is a strong Lego match to show individual impact. The Peace Lily depicts the plant in 3 stages of life: furled buds, partially open flowers, and full blooms. And this represents the journey of individual growth and the different levels of impact that a volunteer makes over time as they show up again and again on a recurring basis to support our partner volunteer stations. The Peace Lily is also a symbol of peace, hope, and ambition. So if you are a volunteer, and listen closely, who represents RSVP at one or more of our partner volunteer stations on a regular, recurring basis, I want you to stand, please. If you go out in the community representing RSVP, there you go. That's right. We need to give a hand to these people and recognize how they are building to bloom in the community. And I'll tell you the number of hours right now. So we have about 11,400 hours that are currently logged, and that is a value to the community of almost $400,000 for this last grant year. And so we're excited to share that with you. But as we said, there's one more month to log those hours, so don't forget to do that for us. And something interesting you might want to know is we looked at our top 8 volunteers of the number of individual hours. Again, those will continue to grow, but anywhere from 322 hours for a person all the way up to 582 for our top volunteer. So we have a volunteer who is not here with us today, actually, who has given that 582, and I think the number will even increase. So a big celebration of hours, and we'll give more information on that as we get closer to our final numbers. So the legacy. So look at this Lego. Can you believe these Legos? You're going to see them upstairs. We have them on display. So you're going to actually get to see them. But this is the chrysanthemum. And it's a Lego choice for representing longevity. And in traditional art, the chrysanthemum is a symbol of longevity, of rejuvenation, and of love. So it represents a steadfast presence that returns year after year. And so we celebrate the volunteers who build a legacy that continues to bloom year after year. So listen closely. If you are an RSVP volunteer who has served and logged hours through RSVP for more than 5 years, if you will stand, please. So if you've been with RSVP more than 5 years, I want you to stand so we can recognize you. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. So thank you for helping our community continue to bloom. We do have some volunteers that were with our Volunteers for Change that then moved into RSVP, and so they've been for a long time, and we have one of those in the audience with us, Stacy, for 30 years, right? Yeah, so Stacy is right there, and we ran an article on her just recently, so thank you, Stacy, for being with us as a volunteer through Volunteer Fairfax and RSVP. So this group, so sunflowers, we're looking at them as the ultimate symbol of optimism and joy, and so the sunflowers remind us of volunteers who beam up the teen spirit and help us branch out and extend and enhance the work of RSVP. And so these large, vibrant yellow blooms are designed to be eye-catching and can brighten any space, and they kind of radiate that energy of a positive leader. And so we are going to celebrate the volunteers who give directly to the work of promoting RSVP. So if you are an RSVP office helper, so that's Janine and Kristen and Mary Ellen and Bob, and if you're part of the Welcome Wednesday planning team, and I see many of you out there, I want you to stand. If you are part of our advisory council, I want you to stand. And if you are a board member of Volunteer Fairfax, I want you to stand. So that group, stand for us, please. Yeah, we got a lot of volunteer stations and board members. Yes, John is Volunteer Fairfax Advisory Council. So we thank you for helping us to be those creative problem solvers. And this one is teamwork. You're going to see all these little tiny little plants upstairs. But these 9 little plants, each in its own pot, represents how groups of volunteers can build their own individual plant, which then contributes to the larger display. So this one is how all these little tasks that we do come together to create these big projects that we do out in the community. So if you participate in Welcome Wednesdays, if you come to pop-up events, or if you do group service projects, I want you to stand, please, so we can recognize and celebrate how you are building to bloom. Excellent. Yep. Thank you. And I'll give you a little bit of information on that. We have monthly Welcome Wednesday events. And so over the course of this year, we've had 486 volunteers show up to Welcome Wednesdays. And that's an average of 41 volunteers at each event. And that represents more than 125 different volunteers that are representing that Welcome Wednesday. So lots of good stuff happening as part of the team. And then on top of that, we've got one more group that I want to recognize, and that's our partnerships. This kind of wildflower bouquet demonstrates the different species of wildflowers, such as lavender and cornflowers and poppies, and the variety mirrors the diverse range of partner organizations that help support us. So if you are a representative from one of our 46 or 55 volunteer station partners, I would like you to please stand right now as well so that we can recognize and celebrate you. Because without you, we would not be able to be out in the community. So I see Emily back there. I see Suzanne that just came through the door. And I know Beth is back there. Beth, please stand up. Any others, thank you for letting our volunteers be a part of your mission out in the community. So with that said, we are going to move into the excitement. So that gives you a little bit of purpose, grounding you in all the good work that we've done this year. And I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful kind of keynote speaker today, who is Loretta Veney. And Loretta is part of Loretta Veney Inspires, and she is an inspirational speaker. She's a certified Lego Serious Play facilitator and author of Being My Mom's Mom, Refreshment for the Caregiver's Spirit and Colors Flowing from My Mind. In 2006, after her mother Doris was diagnosed with dementia, Loretta learned everything she could about the disease, becoming a fierce advocate for her mom. They were featured in the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the New York Times, and 2 PBS specials. And Loretta's engagement with her mom using Lego bricks and her facilitation of Lego Serious Play workshops for those with dementia and their caregivers resulted in them being selected as one of Robin Roberts Thriver Thursday recipients, which previewed on Good Morning America in November of 2021. So in September of 2023, Loretta received a Maud Award given to individuals using innovative methods for engaging with those with dementia. And after her mom's passing in January of 2022, Loretta is continuing that legacy of joy and hope in spite of dementia throughout the United States and Europe. And so I am excited to share with you. I have seen Loretta in action. I attended the Caregivers Conference in November. She was there. I went to her session and was blown away. And so I was like, we've got to have this theme and we've got to have her here. I'm talking to you. So this is Loretta Veney, and we welcome you, Loretta.
Oh, man. All right, let's see. Yes. So how's that sound? Can you hear me? All right, that better? Let's see.
Is that close enough?
If not, I'll just use that one. Okay. You sure?
Is it good?
All right. So that would be me. Some of you said, you look like this picture on this Lego bag. That would be me. So, you know, I feel kind of bad that Stacy created this whole thing of Legos just so I could be here and do this. It was fabulously well done. Can we just give her a hand for this? I'm like, I better be really good after all this, right? All right, so I'm the only thing standing between you and lunch. And so I want to just make sure we get to everything in the time that we have. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about, she told you a little bit. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about our story and then introduce you to Lego Serious Play. Please raise your hands if you have heard of Lego Serious Play before today. One person. I'm going to give you a hug later. I'll see you at lunch. Okay, good. And it's just a fascinating thing I'll share with you. And then we're actually going to build some things. You have a little desk on the side of your chair, and so that will help you when we get to that part. So not yet, but you'll get there. All right, please meet Miss Doris. I had the privilege of being her daughter, and she was absolutely amazing. And so, as Stacy mentioned, dementia came into our lives in 2006. And at the time, she was 77. And I tell you, my greatest fear about this journey was that I thought my mother would outlive my money. And so I was like, they live a long time in this, with this, in my family, I guess I would say. I was going to say, anyway. The most interesting thing I think about us was that we were pretty inseparable. And we did everything together, and we tried to have joy. So I would always say, no matter what happens in life, we're going to have joy. And so when that diagnosis came, what could I promise her? You know, everybody's journey with this disease is so different. So I didn't know what I could promise her because I didn't want to make anything up. So I said, we're going to have joy every day. Some of you are looking like, what's joyful about dementia? But we made it work every single day. And so we did that primarily with Lego bricks. If you have ever built anything with your kids or grandkids, you know, the worst thing everybody hates about Lego bricks is what? Stepping on them. So we made sure we never stepped on them. But one of the things I want to share is that, you know, just how amazing our parents always are. You know, I had no idea how expensive Lego were until I got to be an adult. She raised us as a single mom, yet we had Lego. So when I was 5, we started building everything. And my mother did something really interesting. She only bought us the sets called Creative. And that is you see your Dawley? That's just a box built with all colors, sizes, and shapes of bricks. Not building the airplane and the Star Wars thing. She taught us we could be whatever we wanted and that we could build whatever we wanted. So we did Lego for everything. When things went well, we built with Lego. When things didn't go well, some boy didn't like me at school, we built with Lego. It was all about the Lego. She had a bad day at work, you get this picture. And what I noticed right away when the dementia came was that the Lego kept my mom calm, right? So we use Lego for every single behavioral challenges that occurs with this disease. I would tell you, Lego was our drug. My mother was never on any behavioral altering drug ever. For every possible situation, we had a little, toy or gadget or some Lego bag in my car. I had a thing on a Lego plate on my dashboard. So in the car, she could even build as we drove, and that kept the anxiety down. I had all kinds of little fidget things which I can show you at lunch. And so people were amazed at how well we worked. And I had been watching this thing called Lego Serious Play out of Lego headquarters that was designed to help people communicate more effectively. And I was doing so well with the communication because whenever my mother couldn't find her words, she would get so frustrated. So if, for example, she was trying to identify this clicker, she would get frustrated and sometimes she would knock stuff on the floor because she couldn't remember. So one way I got around that, instead of finishing her sentences, which I usually did, I would just give her a couple of Lego bricks. She would click them together and immediately say, clicker. I just had to give her a minute, right? So I was like, there's really something to this Lego connection. It was really how we handled everything. So even though the course was a lot more money than I wanted to spend at the time, I moved forward and took the class in 2014. That was the year my name stopped being Loretta and became Very Nice Person. That was my name. And people were like, oh, that's so sad. It wasn't really sad, though, because I had a lot of friends whose parents called them a whole lot of other things. So I was really happy to be Very Nice Person, right? So there you have that. So I'm thrilled that after the course that I took to become a certified Lego Serious Play facilitator, our engagement just went to a whole new level. So the number one lesson I learned from my mother was that when you find something that works, you don't keep it to yourself, you share it with other people. So I started knocking on doors at nursing homes. Do y'all want to play with Lego? They're like, yeah, come on in. We can just start. So I volunteered at first to do a lot of those things, and just amazing. So I won't bore you with a lot of the things. I just want to share two amazing things with you. The picture here on the left. In the 12 years that I have been doing this, I've had some amazing outcomes. And these two people spoke again during our Lego session after being nonverbal for more than a year. Take a look at this. This, if you know anything about Lego, it is upside down. And what is fascinating about that is that she didn't just build it and turn it upside down. No, she built it upside down. I'd never seen anybody do this. This was 2017. I'd never seen anybody do that. So I'm so excited. Look at yours, it's upside down. That's so cool. And she instantly gets mad. She's mad because I don't understand why it's upside down. So she, so aggravating. She says, of course it's upside down. It's just like my brain. I found out later she had taught physics at the University of Maryland for 36 years. She clearly understood that something had disconnected in her brain, and that is how she chose to show it. How cool is that? Fast forward to these. I love these two right here. They've been married more than 60 years. His only complaint is the best caregiver ever. His only complaint about this nasty disease is that his wife can no longer say that she loves him. So he say all the time, I love you, I love you, I love you, just waiting for him to say it back. And she really couldn't. So this day, we were doing this really cool thing, and they were building their greatest joy. They built their decades of love. I cried a lot with this job. And you can see, I think you can see here, there's a heart in my kit, right? So I'm coming down the aisle. We're almost done with the session, and she's holding the heart. I was like, what's she going to do with the heart? So I'm coming down. I got my camera, and she slams the heart down on their decades of love, and she says, love you. Oh. Look at his face. Look at his face. You cannot make this up. I sent the picture to their daughter, and she said, Loretta, how did you get that picture? I said, I don't know. I just was snapping. With the iPhone, you can go back a few seconds. It just stopped the room. And everybody in that room is the same situation. People are hugging, people are crying, everybody's so happy for him. And we blew it up as a poster, and it's amazing. So it really has been magical in my life, for sure. And as Stacy mentioned, there's all the media. When Robin Roberts says, give me a bag of Legos and show me this Lego thing, you get her a bag of Legos and you show her this thing. So my mother used to tell people when they came to my house for recording, my mother kept saying, I'm famous. Girl, only in your own mind. And then she would always say, whenever we would play with the Legos, my mom would say, that was our joy. And I was like, yes, and we would always say, so she got to hear her, say that. So it's been just an amazing ride. Who knew this would be my life? And then people say, did you ever have a real job? Yes, I did for 40 years. But this is the work I am absolutely called to do, and that is for sure. So today I'm going to share that with you. We're going to start with this. You don't need to know really anything about the Lego Group, aside from the fact that it is a Danish company. A lot of people think it is a U.S. company. It is not. Their headquarters in a little town called Billund, about 45 minutes or so from Copenhagen. I go there every single year for advanced training after my original certification. The only thing you really need to know about it that I think is so cool is the name and how they got it. And so he didn't know what he wanted to call it. He started it in 1932, never named it until 3 years later. But when he finally did choose a name, he chose wisely. He took two Danish words, leg and gut. And when you combine them, you get Lego. And in English, that means to play well. How cool is that? Wow. If you translate that from Latin, it means we put together. Also cool. And so that's all you really need to know. Now, why did Lego Serious Play come about? And why are we using it today? We're using it today because it's so inclusive. Everything you do as a volunteer and those who support the volunteers here. And I have always wanted to have, a mechanism where everybody can feel a part of it, right? So Lego Serious Play was created originally in the 1990s to help Lego overtake Mattel as the #1 toy company in the world, which they were not, right? And so what they found, though, they engaged some people who had been 30-plus year employees at Lego, and they took some academicians from throughout the United Kingdom, and they sat in a room and figured out, what can we do? And what they found was, you don't need to pay these millions of dollars to consultants to help you improve. The answers are already in the room if you just ask the people who are doing the work. Why do you need consultants? So this is the premise inside this box. This is the premise of Lego Serious Play. It ensures that everyone is included and all voices are heard. So, people are so shocked when I, tell people that this is what I do, and I do it with people with dementia. Most of Lego Serious Play facilitators are coaches, or they work in HR and, other things, teachers, all that. And so I started this trend of doing it with people with dementia, and people find that fascinating, and here's why. There are 4 parts, and you're going to experience this for yourself in just a minute. The first part is I'm going to give you a task. Stacy and I talked about the task. And then all of you in here are going to build your response to said task. And then you're going to share amongst yourself. We'll probably have a couple minutes to hear from the audience, but you'll share with the person that you're sitting next to. And then there's a little reflection, phase. So I don't know why people are always so shocked when they say, you do this with people with dementia? Yes. Are you saying they can tell a story about what they built? Yes. And why are you so surprised by that? And so it's amazing how the stories they really can tell, and maybe I'll get to share a couple of those with you as we go forward. All right, now, so if you're thinking to yourself, I knew I was in trouble when they gave me that bag of bricks when I came in. I wonder if I can get to that exit without Loretta seeing me leave. Please don't leave. Give me a minute. Here's why. My mother would say, if she were here, she would say, there's no wrong way to do it. And she nailed it. No wrong way to do this. So this is all about the metaphors, right? You're going to build something and it's going to represent something else. So here's the cool thing. No matter what you hold up, we're going to clap and move on to the next person, right? It's just that's just, that's how it is. And so, if I ask you to, build your favorite childhood memory, I'm not going to ask you that. But if I did, you would hold it up. You tell them, people's like, it doesn't look like that. Just don't say it out loud. Just nod a lot, and it's going to be good. Now, I'm giving you an example of a perfect metaphor. So Stacy talked a lot about growth and the flowers and the blooming and all that. So if there is a green brick in your bag, this is a 2x4. It was Lego's first and is still their most popular brick. And so if you had a green one in your bag, instead of just saying it's a green brick, I want you to think of it as your growth of flowers or, your relationships or how you're building your community, right? So basically you have no fear. You don't have to be creative because your bricks become whatever you tell us that they are, right? So here comes the fun part. Everybody got one? Okay, cool. All right, so the first thing I want you to find, if you look at the screen, you got 2 little Lego people in there. I want you to find those for me. You can just push those to the side. Right? I know stuff will fall on the floor. It's under her foot.
Can you grab a green?
That green piece, there you go. All right, everybody got the 2 people? She's looking. People are looking. You might have to pour it out. There's another one in there too. There's the other one. It's blue. There you go. All right, good job. Now, no worries. That's why I'm here. All right, this one's a little harder. Look at the screen, if you would, please. I want you to find that windmill-looking piece. It is black. I need you to hold that up for me when you find it. Hold it up. Good job, good job, good job. All right, so in that picture, there are 2 little things. This is a great picture. This is a really good picture, too. So it has 2 little things sticking out of it. Well, each piece has a thing sticking out of it. It looks like a little pole. All you need is one of those, and I'm going to show you a trick. Let me borrow yours.
Okay.
All right, watch this. I'll stand up here so you can see me. So you take either one of those little, and they might not always be gray. They might be other colors. You're looking for something that has a little pole sticking out of it. Now watch this. When I click these together, hear that click? Now watch. It spins around. Oprah would call this an aha moment. You all had the same 47 pieces in that bag, different colors, but exact same pieces. Yet there are no 2 bridges in this room that were remotely alike, right? Give yourselves a hand for those bridges. Look at that. That was amazing. That was amazing. Took a lot of pictures, and I'll get all these to Stacy too. That was absolutely amazing. So I do this practice round to get ready for the real round, which is now. And look at that. Look at the little bridge masterpieces. All right. And so we have one main task. I have a lot of fun, creating all these little scenes. But when Stacy gave me the theme, I thought, oh, this is amazing. So much, growth that we're able to do. All right, so you have one task. Usually, if you're thinking about doing this with folks that have dementia, I usually do 2 or 3 rounds, having them recall a lot of things from their past, and it's, really kind of cool. All right, so here's what I would like for you all to do for me. Please build a model that represents how you have grown and blossomed in the last year. You can just build one major thing. What is it that you have, learned or experienced over this last year that you want to share with this group? So you get 3 minutes this time. And remember, think with your hands. Don't sit there looking at the bricks. Just click some things together and get started. This time you have 3 minutes, and we'll have a little bit of discussion before we get you upstairs to lunch. All right, are we ready to share? I want you to take a photo of your model and then get with a neighbor so you can tell them about what you built. And I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. Share your story. One of the things that I love about this work is that I get to meet an amazing amount of people. And just listening to all of the different categories of service that you all are involved in, it was amazing to be able to just take you through this really short exercise for your continued service to the community. And so I hope, whatever your roles are that you feel, I hope you feel that growth and blossoming, that you really do enrich the lives of other people. So I applaud you. My mom volunteered a lot, and I, followed her along to some of her volunteer things and helped out. So I really appreciate you and all that you do. So I share this picture with you as we get ready to head to lunch. This is the last day of my mother's life. And what does she have in her hands? Yes. She died about 11 hours after that picture was taken. And what I love about this picture is that, it really proves we did exactly what we said we were going to do. We had joy every day. It is amazing. It went pretty quickly after that. We were having a good time, and then all of a sudden, and here's the thing. These are Duplos, of course, but she didn't need the Duplos. She only had the Duplos because I was tired of going in that hospice bed fishing all the little pieces out. So I'm like, okay, in the end, you're going to get the Duplo, and she could really do that. There's also a certification called 6 bricks that I'm involved in, and that's more for dexterity. 3 in one hand, 3 in the other, put it on the knee, so it's more physical than, it really is amazing. So there's so many things you can do to keep them happy, and I just love her focus. And so as Stacy said, I'm just continuing, what she taught me, and one of the things I think I shared in November was that my mom always wanted to travel, and she never went anywhere above New York City. But I had asked her from day one, can I share our story on social media? And I did that, the good, the bad, the really, really ugly. And so who knew, I didn't know, all these people were following. I don't look at numbers. However, when she died, we got condolences from 18 different countries. I don't even know where Sri Lanka is, but this kid writes me and says, oh, Miss Loretta, you saved our family. I got some Lego bricks from the store, like you said, and my grandma talked again after a couple of years. And that just blew me away. My next door neighbor ruined the whole ink cartridge printing out all the condolences from LinkedIn. And it's like you never know how many people's lives you're touching. I tell you that story because you also have no idea how many lives you are touching. And that's what I want you to feel today, that the work you are doing is amazing, even if nobody tells you that every day. So keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for allowing me to spend this part of your celebration with you today. Thank you all so much. Woo! Damn.
We are coming to the end of our time in here. So if you want to clean up your Lego blocks, put those back in your bags for you. And as you leave, so these are ours and your Lego blocks. And so we are going to collect them if you want, and get them upstairs so that you don't have to hold on to them while you're upstairs, or if you want to hold on to your Legos, they are yours. That's right, to keep and take with you, whatever is best for you. If you're a lady and you have a pocketbook, you can probably put it inside. Gentlemen, if you've got a coat pocket, that might work as well. So some of our team is moving around. We always do a toast as part of our time together here as we kind of celebrate the old year and ring in the new year. So we've got our friends are moving around, so you'll want to make sure that you get your drink so that you can have a toast with us. And as that is coming around, let me give a few notes for upstairs. You'll get some more reminders. Thank you. I'm going to take that yellow. More reminders when you get up there. But you had a raffle ticket when you came in, correct? Hold on to that. Raffle's going to be calling of the tickets at 2:45 today. You have to be present to win, so we're going to hold you here, or you can give a ticket to somebody else to get the prize to you. But we've got that going on. When you get upstairs, it's lots of Legos, believe me, everywhere, and decorations and food and all of that. But there is a wall, a Building to Bloom wall, and on the table there are some flowers and a marker. If you are willing to commit to this next grant year, starting April 1, to volunteer and record your hours with us, we ask that you put your name on one of those flowers, kind of a commitment wall that I'm in for this new year, and you get to put your name up on that wall, on that flower. I'll give more direction in case you forget when we get up there. If you're a guest that's not a volunteer, if you can commit to supporting our RSVP volunteers, we ask that you put your name on a flower and put it on the wall so that we have a big blooming wall as we're building out into our community. There is the step and repeat. There's photos upstairs. There are some Lego glasses. There are some flower kind of head things. You're encouraged, and some props. You're encouraged to take some photos, and Patricia is around as well, so she can get a photo of you. There's also upstairs a Lego guess the number count. So there's a jar on the table over by the photos. So you want to count the number and guess, and then we'll have a prize for that. There are 4 door prizes today. There's 1 prize for the person who gets closest to the count. We do have gifts for everyone when you leave today. So everyone is going to get a gift today after you're finished with your eating. So we'll get those to you as you're leaving, so don't leave today without your gift. If you brought a coat, don't forget to get your coat moved upstairs That's important for you too. And then the food upstairs. We are actually, when you get into the room, we ask you to find a seat. There's plenty of seating for everybody to have a seat at the table. So find a place, kind of lay down your stuff so that you can then enjoy the food that's all at the big table. Keeping in our building theme, we are doing a kind of master builder's bowl bar. So there's a place where there are bases and proteins and all kinds of things. So you're going to want to enjoy that. So that's kind of the meal part. And then there's a cheesecake bar, a Flora cheesecake bar that has all kinds of things that you get to build as well. So there's a lot of good food upstairs, a lot of fellowship. So this is their fun down here. So we don't want to lose anybody out the front door, right? When you come out this, you're going to go up the elevator or up the stairs, get off at the second floor, and then it depends on which elevator you get off. You're going to turn right or left, huh? That made me laugh, sorry. But hopefully you'll see the RSVP sign that's out. You know, it's different this year. It's not that M&M one. There's that new one that was out there. So look for the sign. We'll be there to greet you. So we will head upstairs right now. We're right at 2 o'clock. And so we've got a good long time. So we'll do our toast, and then off we'll go. So we're going to focus on our volunteers first. Did you see your little block down in there? Yeah, you got a little Lego in there, don't you? So, to our volunteers, thank you for being the roots, the stems, the bright colors of everything we do. Let's keep building and growing together. So, cheers to the community we're building together. So, to our volunteers, chug chug. All right. To our partner organizations, to our volunteer stations, you are the soil and the structural base. You provide the foundation and resources that allow our work to stand tall and to flourish. So cheers to the community we're building together. So to our volunteer stations, here. And to any of our guests, you are the reason we grow. Your presence today is the light that keeps our mission moving forward. So cheers to the community we're building together. Here. That's right. And just like these Lego bricks, we are building to bloom because of you. So thank you for being here, for all that you do for RSVP and our community. So with that said, you can gather yourselves up here. But before you walk out of the room, you know that we have some very creative videographers in our midst, right? Bob and Mary Ellen love to do a good video for us. And so there is a very short video, just a few seconds long, that is here. I think I just have to push this button. Wonderful. Thank you, Bob and Mary Ellen, building connections and growing community. So thank you again for being here, and you can make your way upstairs and enjoy each other and the food and fellowship. Thank you. Here's the story on the raffle, okay? So, Do you see these green boxes on the table?
Okay.
Guess what? They're the prizes. Yeah. And guess what? They're little berries. So, we're going to, I think, Patricia, you got all the pictures you needed at the table? Because we're going to start disassembling it. Good. Okay. So, I'm going to move right here to this green box with the bow on it, and I'm going to pull it up. And so they've got gifts inside, as well as a small little Amazon gift card to help you remember your Lego experience and your botanical experience and the little shopping that you get to do on your own. So, with that said, let me find, you know what? Loretta's smiling, but look at that. Don't you love that photo? Oh, yay. Yeah, I do need you, Loretta. I need you to reach down inside. And so this is the first drawing for the first prize. All right, let me read a number. You got your numbers? It's 01499 01499 Ken. So Tina. Hey Tina, are you? Yeah. Tina needs you to sign off that you got it. So here you go, Ken. Congratulations. And Tina's coming around to you. So thank you. All right.